Calling to order the regular meeting of the Wheeling Planning Commission for Wednesday, September 13th, 2023. Please stand for the pledge. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Commissioner Casper.
Present.
Commissioner Heiken.
Here.
Commissioner Sprague is here. Commissioner Riles.
Here.
Commissioner Meyer.
Here.
Chairman Johnson.
Here. Ms. Nyes, any changes to tonight's agenda?
No changes.
And let's see, we had nobody sign up for citizen concerns and comments.
Correct.
And we have no consent items. So we'll move right along to the items for review with PCMIN 23-0026, request for minor site plan and appearance approval for a dog park at Mandalane Apartments at 450 Mandalane. Ms. Nyes.
So Mandalane's contractor was here a few months ago to get approval for improvements to their main courtyard area, and those improvements have been done. As you can see from these pictures, they put out their grill station and their pergolas, basketball court, bocce ball court, and landscaping. And now they would like to put in a dog park, which really just consists of a fence in this open area, which you can see is in between the pergolas and the basketball court. So that requires minor site plan review. So here it is sitting in the middle, in the yellow area. They have some drawings. And is somebody here from Mandalane? Oh, you're here. Sorry, I wasn't sure.
Come on up.
Come on up. And let's see, staff did not have any conditions that were proposed. So if you want me to flip back to anything else? Or...
There's really not a lot to, I think, describe with it. It's a pretty straightforward 30 by 50 dog park with a 4 by 6 corral. It's a 4-foot high aluminum ornamental fence, very similar to what we just had installed at the swimming pool prior to the summertime. And we'd like to add this to kind of finish off the amenity community space area and just allow the residents an area to congregate, socialize, and an area for their dogs to play. As you can see from the site, there's a lot of drive lanes, a lot of parking, and oftentimes we'll see residents walk with their dogs around the parking lot area, and we think it's another way to kind of minimize the liability of having residents walk with their dogs in the parking lot.
And could you just state your name?
Oh,
My name is Eric Anderson. I apologize.
Okay.
I'm with
That's
Ansonia
okay.
Property Management.
Okay, thank you, just for the record.
All right. Anything else from you?
No, thank you.
All right. Let's start, Commissioner Meyer.
Thank you so much. I had the opportunity to go past the development, and I was really pleased with the amenities as shown. I have no concerns other than you had mentioned that waste collection would be the responsibility of owners, and I'm just wondering if you foresee any problems with that.
I really don't because we have security cameras in the area as well.
Okay.
We just added one right by the grilling station and the pergolas that we just put in. So we feel we'll be able to kind of keep track of that. So if there's a collection of waste that keeps building up, we'll be able to check our cameras and go back to the residents and penalize them. That hasn't been, I think, really described yet with the management staff about how that will happen. I'm sure that might be a monetary fine or something like that, but I feel we'll be able to monitor that pretty well if it tends to build up on a daily basis.
Okay, well, you've done a really nice job, so thank you. That's all.
Commissioner Riles.
Thank you. I want to commend you. I've spoken with so many residents and people in the community who approached me and said they wish that there was a dog park available for them to, bring their pets. And to learn that you have taken the step and taken the lead and creating this opportunity for the residents in the community, to me is very commendable. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
I do have a question. I'm unfamiliar with dog parks or whatever. I'm familiar with some in Chicago, the city of Chicago. But is there like a time restriction? Is it, like a start time and an end time? People have to be out of there by a certain amount of times with their dogs?
No, we really don't have any posted stop time for residents to be out in the community area. We haven't had any complaints from residents as far as basketball court use, or the grills haven't really been hooked up yet as far as gas for the grills, so we haven't had any opportunity really for, I guess, complaints from any residents of late night cooking or anything, but we're going to put timers on those grills to make sure they're not used late at night. But as far as the dog park, we don't have any plans for any posted start and stop times, but that's certainly something we will consider if it becomes a nuisance or it becomes a complaint of the residents.
Sure, yeah, because I know a lot of people, I was out last night around 9 o'clock, and I was surprised at the amount of dog walkers at that time. Obviously, people are getting ready for, the next day, so they're winding down their evening. So I was just curious about that. But again, I want to say thank you, and I commend you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no questions.
Commissioner Heiken.
I have no questions other than the place looks very nice.
Okay.
Commissioner Casper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also don't have any questions, and I am not a dog lover, but you're to be commended. This is spectacular. And the fact that you have something here that will really encourage people from the community to come together, bring your dogs, bring your kids, bring your basketball. That's what it's all about, is people communicating with each other and getting to know each other. And this is 100 times nicer than it was when I used to go jogging through there. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I concur that all the improvements you're making there are just great. I have nothing to add on the dog park. And I don't believe there's no conditions.
No.
And any other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Meyer, Heiken?
Yep.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Casper?
Yes?
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that's your final approval, and you just need to get a permit for the fence.
Okay.
So that's it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, next up we have PSP MIN 23-002, a request for minor building appearance approval for facade improvements at 82 to 106 East Dundee. This sounds familiar. Ms. Nyes?
Yes. So the petitioners were here previously. Let's see. Last time they were here, they wanted to paint the facade gray, and I think they had painted it gray, but then they painted it back to tan. So now we're back to existing conditions. And so they're here for minor appearance review, and they're looking to now stain the brick portions of the facade, or all four sides of the building, and change the, let me show you here, the ephes, this top portion here, on that south facade, and also stain the coping here and the base down here. The tenant panels, as they currently exist, will remain. They won't all be changed to white. They're going to stay as is. So they want to stain the building white. Staff is typically not supportive of painting the brick, but this application, because it is staining, we believe it'll be a better look in the end. So while staff is supportive of staining the brick, they would like to see the stone kept in its natural state, and that is being consistent with how we've treated other properties in the recent years when they've come in to paint the outer portions of their buildings. So staff did recommend 3 conditions. The first was that the stone portions of the building shall not be painted or stained. The second is that 2 landscape planters shall be placed in front of each business. There currently are 2 planters in front of each, well, I guess it's 1 in front
Yeah.
of each business, 2 in
Really-
front of each building section.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I'll have to say 1 in front of each business. And then the third is the applicant shall paint the raceway and backer panels of all existing signs to match the new iron gray color of the proposed hardy board. So we have these existing signs that have, if you see where my cursor is now, their backer panel was painted tan or this neutral color to match the current facade. So now when they paint it gray, this will need to be painted gray. So that'll need to happen to any of these signs that have a backer panel or a raceway. It'll need to match, and the building owner should be responsible for making that upgrade. So I will change the recommended condition to be 1 landscape planter shall be placed in front of each business, and then you guys will let me know what you think about those conditions.
Okay,
And the petitioner is here.
come on up.
Hi, good evening. My name is David Hakimi. This is my father.
Hi.
Yes, so we went back to the drawing board essentially, and we realized, the stucco has been painted numerous times. We spoke to contractors, and they recommended something called hardy board, which is a concrete slab that requires no maintenance. It comes the existing color, so you don't have to paint it for 30 years. There's a warranty that comes from the manufacturer directly. So we decided, to go for it and really make the building pop a little bit more instead of just paint. So we're looking to replace, like I said, the stucco with the hardy board, and then go ahead and stain the brick. And we actually spoke with the person who did our rendering, told him not to change the stone, but there was a little miscommunication.
Oh,
So
okay.
we do agree with that. We were not planning on
Okay,
changing the stone,
perfect.
because you can't paint stone, unfortunately. So that's basically where we're at.
Okay. Well, let's see if Commission has any questions. Start the other, and Commissioner Casper.
No questions?
Commissioner Heiken.
So I'm confused now with the rendering that you've provided. You are not going to stain the brick white, or you are?
Sorry, there's stone. It's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, it's hard to see in.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's stone column.
There's a
Stone
stone
columns, there's 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
Those are not going to be changed?
No, those.
So see.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The,
Those will not be touched.
So, and what part is stucco? Are we talking about the ephes
The
stucco?
ephes, yeah.
Okay, so the columns will not be painted, and the ephes will be gray, and what about the side of the building?
The side of the building we stain white.
So
All
you're
4
gonna,
sides will be
you're gonna stain all 4 of those columns? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's all that I had a question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no questions.
Commissioner Riles.
Thank you. No questions.
Commissioner Meyer.
I just want to say thank you, because I know you've appeared before us before. I know you've put a lot of effort into this. I'm really happy to hear you're not painting the stone. That was my concern. And if you can paint the backers and provide the landscape planners, I think it'll look great. So thank you very much. No further questions.
All right. I noticed the elevations and the renderings, the lighting wasn't illustrated in there, or the lightings that is there going to remain
Yeah,
as
we
is?
plan on keeping the lighting there.
Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, of course.
And the east side of the building has, what, ivy and stuff on it? Is that all being stripped off? And
Yeah.
obviously before you try and stain it,
Yeah, we'd have no choice to remove that. Yeah.
so that's all going to be removed? Okay. I think last time you gave us more details on the actual staining process.
Yeah, so actually in the proposal we sent, I think my contractor describes it a little bit. Yeah, so they will power wash and with no solvent, and then I believe they, It's like 3 or 4 coats of stain. So this is the same company that did my personal home 3 years ago, and it looks incredible. So that's why I plan on not using them again. But it is really straightforward. They just power wash the brick, and then they put 2 to 3 coats. It's all done by hand. It's not sprayed. So it's very labor intensive, hence the price. But yeah, they go over every section, and I believe it's 2 to 3 times, 2 to 3 coats.
Okay. All right, so we do have the condition. Is there any other questions?
I have one more condition. Is there any plans, excuse me, on redoing the parking lot, the pavement?
Yes. As soon as the construction, assuming this all goes forward, assuming everything is done, we were looking to resurface the driveway, front and back, yeah.
I was planning to do it this year, then I figured we have to wait until the construction.
All good.
Okay, so these conditions, Marcy, you want to read them again?
Sure. Number 1, the stone portions of the building shall not be painted or stained. Number 2, one landscape planter shall be placed in front of each business. And number 3, the applicant shall paint the raceway and backer panels of all existing signs to match the new iron gray color of the proposed hardy board.
All good with that?
Yes.
Yep. All right. Then I would entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Meyer, Casper. Commissioner Meyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Casper.
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You don't need any other approvals to do the painting or anything. Just when you go to do the pavement work, you'll need a permit for that.
Okay, and the hardy board as well?
That, you probably need a building permit.
Building permit.
Yeah, we can double check tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, the painting and the staining, the staining, you're good to go.
Okay.
But yeah, probably the hardy board, I think you need a building permit.
Permit. Okay. Excellent.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Have a good night.
All right, next up, we have docket number PSU 23-0010, request for special use to operate a recreation and instruction facility for Foxhole training at 286 West Palatine Road. Mr. Secretary, I believe you have some reading on this one.
I do. Foxhole Training Systems, leasee, is seeking special use approval pursuant to Title 19, zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19.10, use regulations and associated sections in order to permit a recreation and instruction facility located at 286 West Palatine Road, which is zoned I-2 Limited Industrial and I-3 General Industrial. A special use is defined in the zoning code as a use of parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to the potential for negative impacts on surrounding properties. In order to be considered for a special use, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the Village Code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request meets the standards for special use as established in Title 19. The Commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the Village Board.
Ms. Nye.
Hi. So I wanted to just clarify in the report, or in, let's see, maybe in the petitioner's project letter, they talked about their license. And so I just wanted to explain that when they came in, if you want to have a, what do we call it, a recreation and instruction facility with more than 12 individuals at a time, that includes people participating as well as coaches and spectators, it's considered a large recreation and instruction facility. So that's what the petitioner wanted. So we went ahead and gave him a business license to open and with less than 12 people. So he's allowed to operate now, so he's currently operating. So the special use is to go above the 12-person limit. So he's allowed to be open under 12 people. So that's what the licensing was about. It was about the business license. And the special use is, just to allow more than 12 people in the recreation and instruction facility at one time.
Okay.
That's really it.
This is a public hearing, so I need to swear you in. Raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right. Please state your name and business address.
Fernando Perez, 286 West Palatine Road.
All right. Do you have anything to add to what Ms. Nyes has already said?
She cleared up pretty well.
So you're sharing space with White Tiger? Is that how this?
Yes, sir. So I am actually subleasing the highlighted portion from White Tiger.
Okay.
This was a space that was used prior to my contract as a Krav Maga, which is another form of martial art. So this is something that's going to be totally different than what is in that area right now.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us before we ask the commissioners? Pretty
brief,
simple,
yeah.
All right. Well, is there any public comment from anyone? Okay, you're in the clear. Commissioner Meyer.
So if I interpreted your information correctly, you currently have 12, a maximum of 12 in these classrooms, and you're looking to go to a maximum of 15, is that correct?
The first license that I have right now is for no more than 10.
No more than 10, okay.
Correct. And then for my fixed cost, or for my fixed plan, is to have no more than 15.
Okay, and so you have some varying room sizes here, or at least, again, it's hard to tell without square footage, but, given those various room sizes, I'm just wondering from a capacity standpoint, is 15 going to be kind of tight?
Actually, 15 falls 5 people under what the state recommends.
Okay.
According to the fire code. So I made sure that there was more than enough space.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
Sure.
Commissioner Riles.
Thank you. I'm just curious, 15 people at one time, or how, because I see the hours of operation, so.
Yes, 15 people at one time.
From 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.?
Oh, no, within a class setting. So hour-and-a-half class, no more than 15 people. And then, as needed throughout the day, I'll plan as many sessions as needed so that I can accommodate those 15 per.
Gotcha. Is there any special equipment that's going to be in excess that's used, or?
In excess, no. I mean, everything is, I've only loaded up exactly what I needed in there, so.
And what is that?
Boxing equipment, athletic training and development equipment, those kind of things. Everything is really well spread out and set in a way where it's not an obstruction to anybody in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. No other questions. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening.
Good evening.
So you'll have 15, up to 15 students?
Yes.
And then how many instructors does that involve?
1.
Just one?
Yes.
And then do you know how many clients White Tiger would have in that same space at one time?
In his
at all?
space, just across the hall from me, he averages anywhere between 25 to 30 in his space alone. And those are usually just like youth athletes that are coming through there.
And do you know what the capacity of the unit is?
The entire unit?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
I just know where.
Do we know that?
Mine is.
I don't know based on the square footage, but there are two exit doors, so it's more than plenty for that
so
space.
That's good. Okay, that's all, was my only concern.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Hyken.
First of all, thank you for your service.
Appreciate that.
And thank you for coming to Wheeling.
Thank you.
I have no other questions, thank you.
Commissioner Casper.
No questions, thank you.
And I had no further questions? Ms. Nyes, there are no conditions?
No.
If there's no other questions, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Hyken?
Meyer, Hyken.
Hyken.
Commissioner Meyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Hyken.
Yes.
Commissioner Casper.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes.
So now you will go to the village board on October 16th. They're not having the first meeting in October, but that's totally fine with your business license. It'll just, go until then. And we'll be in touch before then.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for
Good
your
luck.
time.
I now need a motion to close PSU
moved.
230010. Sorry,
So moved.
Second.
your call.
Sprague and Riles.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Commissioner Casper.
Yes.
Commissioner Hyken.
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right. Now we move on to docket PPUD 23-0005, concept review for Prairie Park West planned unit development at 5 Meadow Lane and 210 Meadow Lane. Ms. Nyes.
Jamie Smith is here, and he'll give us an overview, but I'm going to give you a little overview as well. So the PUD, we are at the concept review. So they went to the village board on April 3rd and had the concept review there as well, and that received a favorable motion to continue on here to the concept review process with the Plan Commission. Please remember that the concept review is mandatory for all PUD applications, and it's a high-level overview of the PUD where they're just providing a general description of the concept, a general vicinity map, general statistics for the project, pictures of the site, general concept plan, and general location of buildings, open spaces, parking areas, and circulation. Due to the conceptual nature of this, there's no formal or binding approval associated with this review. So we're not talking about nitty-gritty, any details whatsoever. We're just talking big picture here tonight. So they're here to get your feedback if you have any questions or comments, but we're not talking about parking stall size or what color the curtains are going to be. So basically have a 48-unit townhome, two-story townhome development with 2-car garages on 7.2 acres of undeveloped land immediately west of the Prairie Park subdivision. And I will turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me tonight.
For the record, name and business address.
Jamie Smith, 1130 Honeysuckle Drive, Wheeling.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me tonight. We're excited to be here. We look at this as a continuation of the success we've had at the villas at Prairie Park. Currently, I think we're calling it Prairie Park West, but we're working on maybe a slightly nicer name. Marcy put it well, 48 units located directly west, built in 2 phases. As you can see the site plan here, the units that we would be building in the first phase would be these central unit here to the north, as well as the most northern 6-unit building here and this western 6-unit building, this 4-unit building, and the remaining 4 buildings to the south would come in the second phase. They're all 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, approximately 1,700 square feet, 2-car garages, with all first floor primary bedrooms. Here you can see the vicinity map directly located west. We'll drive through a very nice bridge type look that with stone columns, as well as really nice landscaping that we have planned with the central park area located between the 2 central buildings, so that that view as you drive up, it is an elevated portion to the existing condo site. So we really want to make it a very nice entrance, not only for the new homeowners, but the existing homeowners within the project as well. We have, and I'm going to have Steve hand this out now, even though it's just concept. We've already started working on staff's comments to delineate units by units. We've made some really nice changes in terms of the elevations of the buildings and some roof design changes. we are still working on color changes as well, so that it's not only complementary to the existing 17-acre development, but also for the new homeowners that are going to be purchasing these. And I'm very happy with these changes that Steve made. If you look at each first page after the site plan, you'll see some clouds around where the new changes are. And once you flip the page to the third page, for example, you'll see those changes that have already been added to the elevation. So we're already working on comments that staff has given us to make these buildings even nicer, and we're very excited about it. Here's a rendering of the project from bird's eye view. And other than that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right. Well, let's start with Commissioner Casper. Any comments on this project?
No, not at this time.
All right. Commissioner Heiken.
Due to a conflict of interest, I'm going to recuse myself.
Thank you. Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. Nice to see you back. The road, the loop that's going to go around the townhouses, is that going to be a continuation of Prairie Park Road as far as the name?
I believe that's going to continue as Prairie Park Drive. We had to do a new roadway for the townhomes, Prairie Court, because it's separate. So yes, it is. Our plan is Prairie Park Drive unless the U.S. Post Office has an issue, and we actually have initial addresses, but once again, we have to run that through the post office.
Okay, I thought it would be confusing. It was talked about Meadow Lane.
That's just the current addresses.
Right.
No, we plan on it continuing as it is a private road, so we're going to call it Prairie Park Drive, and the addresses are going to continue on the north side as even numbers, the west side the south side as odd numbers, and go after the highest building we have within the project is 115. So we're planning on starting at 120, going up all the way to, I think it's 170.
All right. Is there a house at the end of that private Meadow Lane Drive?
There's a house that you can see on the first page of what Steve handed out, the existing residential property.
And someone actually lives back there?
Yes.
Okay. And there won't be any impact with their property or?
I mean, we will obviously stay within our property line. I have reached out to that homeowner in an attempt to purchase the property. And the last time I reached out in June, I didn't get a response.
No. Okay. Is there a walking path to the west of where you're going to build these?
Correct. It runs right along if you look at that top sheet that Steve handed out, the front sheet, it runs right along the diversion channel and then follows the village property to the west that's not on here.
So do you have any kind of plans to keep that private or separate from
We plan on keeping that so that not only existing residents can still utilize that and go for walks. It's very nice back there. You see deer and other animals sometimes, as well as these new residents would be able to.
What about the privacy as far as you think your future residents could be concerned about?
So you do have retaining walls. We will have most likely retaining walls along the north line there. And then as you can see, there's space where your detention and comp storage is. So you do have separation. That walkway is literally right along the property line at the diversion channel.
Okay. All right.
So the units will be elevated relative to where that walking path is currently.
All right, I'm glad you're working on the buildings because I did agree with staff as far as breaking that up a little bit.
Yep.
So it doesn't look like one large building.
Exactly, and so that's why we've made those additions, and then we're working on some different colors with hardy board to also delineate each individual unit.
Can I ask you why you moved away from the designs of the other townhomes? Because those are beautiful.
From an economic standpoint, unfortunately, the rates are at 8%. If you want to go, that's why you don't see a lot of new construction going on. So we had to shrink them, and it's the same reason that you don't see people doing 2-story townhomes very often. Everyone's doing a 3-story product. So I mean, economics. Unfortunately, the cost of everything has gone up, and that's the world we're living in today.
And then as far as I saw, there was different examples of retaining walls. As far as I'm concerned, if you try to match the retaining walls to the existing stonework that you have throughout the complex, that would be fine with me.
That's what we would be doing.
Yeah, okay, great.
Which is exactly what we did with them on the current 18 units.
Good. That's all I have.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner Riles.
Thank you. No questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Meyer.
I do have some questions. So appreciate the drawings. Thank you very much. Can you talk to me a little bit more about how, relative to the overall townhome design, I understand you're going to use some coloration, but what other improvements are you going to make so it doesn't look like one long contiguous building?
So we're going to obviously redo the rendering once we finalize plans and work with staff to delineate each individual units, but we have some good ideas with color to do that as well.
Okay, so it's mostly color, it's not any...
Well, you'll see, if you look at these changes that were made, for example, if you look at the roof line additions,
Yes.
especially the backs of the buildings, that's where the biggest issue, I think, lied, especially with those two central 8-unit buildings where people are seeing the backs of the buildings, or I'm sorry, if they're on that central park area.
Yeah.
And so if you look at page, let's see, 1, 2, 5, you'll see what we've done with bump outs, and I know it's hard to tell on a 2D picture, but for example, you have those 4, if you look at the third picture down, those 4 additional bump outs, as well as the roof line additions
Yes, I see that.
and the deck. So not seeing it in 3D makes it difficult, but we've made some significant changes that I think will really help once we do decide on the facades, whether that changes per unit or color designs. I think you'll be able to see the difference between each unit.
Okay, fair enough. Talk to me a little bit about just what you anticipate from a traffic standpoint, because as I understood it, there's just one way in and one way out, right?
Correct. It's 40. You have 48 units on 7.2 acres. Originally, many years ago, we had planned to do 2 additional 7-story buildings with 72 units in each. So from a density standpoint, we're significantly lower than what was originally planned for this property. Obviously, you do have 48 more units. Originally, where we're building the 18 now was going to be another 77-unit building. So we anticipate having, a little bit less actually than what was originally planned for the first 17-acre project.
Okay. And then just in terms of driveways, okay, I know we're early in the concept review process, but what are you anticipating just in terms of driveways? Because I noticed there is a fair amount of green space in the plan, which I was happy to see, but I'm just concerned, what's the driveway length?
What do you mean, what's the driveway like?
Well, again, if you look at the current townhomes, there's relatively short driveways and there's, the common concrete road. So I'm curious, do you anticipate the same length of driveway that?
How much longer are they? Yeah, so they're 19 and a half feet long, and then you
Okay.
also have sidewalks separating from the roadway as well.
Okay, thank you. And then I'm assuming there is no connection down here to Meyerson.
Well, there is a connection as an emergency access that I believe the fire department would like to see.
Okay.
I know
and then-
residents on both within Prairie Park and the neighborhood off of Meyerson probably don't want that connection, but I know as from a safety standpoint that the fire department would like to have fire access.
Okay, and then just relative to the detention basin, I know there was some concern about soil stability. So again, I realize we're early in the process. Is that something that you plan to analyze?
Yeah, absolutely. Staff requested it, so we will. It's not something we're concerned about. It wasn't an issue when we did our testing on the 18 units we're doing right now, which are right up against the diversion channel as well.
Okay,
And those had basements. These units do not. These are all on slab.
okay, thank you very much.
That's it. Was this particular piece of the property always Smith family?
Well, whenever we bought it from Meadow
Well, yeah,
Lane,
okay.
the homeowners back there.
For some
there was
reason,
a
I was
number of
thinking
homes.
somebody else was looking at developing that at some point.
There was like, yes, DR Horton was looking at doing more townhomes on that site. I can't remember the exact number. I think it was 66.
Yeah, it's just something in the back of my mind.
Yes, that was probably 4 years ago, approximately, I'm guessing.
Okay. Let's see, we talked about access, the geotechnical report, traffic study. Do you plan on doing that?
If you need one, we'll do one.
Yeah. And let's see, talked about a variance from 25-foot rear yard setback to what?
Do you know what the setback is?
Well, if you include the detention strip, it's more than 25 feet.
Oh, so it's, you're not really looking for a variance on that, right?
What is this about?
Well, to the west is all open land. Do you know which building you're referring to, or which direction?
Well, I was just looking at, description of PUD concept plan.
Yeah, I think if you're referring to the west, to the property line, technically is not 25 feet. For the western units
West
there.
line of townhomes? Okay.
Yeah, so there's nothing back there, but the property line, that's not 25 feet.
Oh, okay. All right. Fire, anything of concern at this point?
No, as Jamie mentioned, we do want Meadow Lane to be a secondary emergency access. And if they put some kind of chain or something there, just so residents aren't using it, that's fine. We can always have access through that space.
So that little section of that road has to be improved?
Correct, so we'll be improving basically Prairie Park Drive, will run to Meadow Lane, and where that connection is made, then we'll have to improve that dirt road
Yeah, 'cause
portion.
it is a very bumpy dirt road.
Yes, it is.
All right. Anything else from the commission? Nope. Overall, I think it looks like a good project.
Thank you.
Do we need to do anything? All right, continue on.
All right, thank you.
And,
Good luck.
Have a good night.
Take care. Approval of minutes, the regular meeting of August 9th, 2023. I believe we had some corrections on the
Yes,
motion.
the correction was made.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, hold on.
That was Mr. Hyken?
Yes. Who was it?
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Hyken?
Yes.
Commissioner Casper?
Yes.
Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer?
Abstain.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. Other business. Ms. Nyes. Anything coming up? I didn't see
We
any
have a
public notices.
meeting in 2 weeks.
I didn't see any public hearing notices in the paper, so.
No, it's been a little quiet. There's a lot going on, but nobody's really ready for their public hearing yet. So get ready for it to be busy, but it's pretty quiet right now. We've had a bunch of business licenses go out. Just some regular, commercial businesses. Up by Chipotle, that, what's it called?
Schwinn Crossing?
Yeah, what's the place right next to Chipotle, that like,
Oh, that I don't know. I
like
thought you were talking
tea, or
about the
that
shopping center.
like boba tea ice place?
It was Sweet Froyo, I think, before. I don't know if you
I
changed
think
the
it's
name.
Sweet Froyo again.
Yeah, it might be
Oh,
still
it
the
might be
same
them.
name.
Oh, okay, so, well, if they were closed before, they're back open. Or they have a new business license. So, and then just some other commercial businesses. So, nothing huge to report.
All right. Anything going on with Beer Man?
No,
That just gonna fade away?
he still has some time to finish up.
How about the Armenian restaurant? Is that still?
Yeah, they're working. They're moving along pretty well.
On Milwaukee?
On 516 North Milwaukee. 516, 517,
Oh, okay.
one of those.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah, they've been moving along pretty well.
Great, good. Still waiting for that car wash on Milwaukee.
I was just going to say, the car wash there is movement there. Yeah, they are back to work.
Good, good.
Yeah, they were waiting for some stormwater.
Yeah, IDOT approval, which took about a year. So, yeah, some changes had to be made, but they're digging basins out there. They say that they'll be done before the end of the year. Obviously, that's quickly approaching, so
Yeah.
we'll see if they can kind of keep the progress up.
Yeah.
Anything else happening from the engineering standpoint?
No, just trying to wrap up a lot of our capital improvement projects as it starts to get into fall here, so we can finish paving and kind of clean things up for the winter, but no, a little bit of the same.
All right. Anything fire department, as long as you're here.
Well, the chief put in his retirement papers.
Oh, no.
He's going to be retiring in January, so there'll be a new chief sometime next year.
Congrats. All right.
How's the new firehouse coming along?
Good. Yeah, they had the trusses out there. I saw, delivered the trusses and stuff, so it's moving along.
Great.
Yeah, it should be before winter, it'll be all boxed up and everything.
Nice.
I heard you guys have to change the numbers around because you're signing up with
Oh, we're going to
Northwest Central?
Northwest Central Dispatch, and so, yeah, the rig numbers, I think, are going to get changed because somebody who's there, I forget who, already has like
23 and
20, yeah, I
24.
think it's Hoffman Estates might have the 20s and stuff, so we're going to have to change some of our numbers.
All right. Okay, anything else from the group? If not,
So I just
Wait a
had
minute.
one thing, and that's, when Scott appeared in front of us from the 50/50 group at the OK Dispensary, he talked about their farmers or craft market, and I see on their website that they are kicking off September 24th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
good.
Yes, I believe they're working with the health inspector for their special event permit.
Excellent, thank you.
All right, if there's nothing else, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Meyer and Heiken.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.